Hey everyone, welcome to episode number 2 of Dental Marketing Radio's podcast. This is your host, Graig Presti, President and CEO of LocalSearchForDentist.com. And this is officially episode number 2. So we are the second one in. We are luckily being joined by my brother, Graig Presti. He's here. Say hi.
Hi, everyone. This is Derek.
That's Derek. So I brought Derek on today because actually he has a pretty unique perspective. He is one of our project managers / client relationship managers, where he gets the unique privilege of dealing with customers and data and really getting to see what's going on with our clients in terms of not only their hard numbers in terms of marketing, but he gets to get a unique glimpse into the mindset of a dental practice or a dentist when it comes to marketing. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because for those of you who haven't listened to the podcast before, we're actually going to be on this podcast, internet radio show. You're going to be able to go to the website, dentalmarketingradio.com, or you can go to iTunes. It's going to be available for free, or you can go to the website and listen to it, put it on your iPad, iPhone, whatever you want to do with it. It's readily available. Share it on Facebook, tweet it, email it to your buddies. It's there for you to use. And the whole point of me doing this podcast is because I feel as if there's just a lot of misinformation about marketing, and I think that that really we're going to share a lot of unique perspectives. We're going to bring doctors on. We're going to do different things that allow everyone to kind of get, they're going to get a very unique perspective of marketing because, I'm not a dentist, but I am a marketer and a CEO. I understand business. I have an MBA. I get what it takes to make a business grow. My company is one of the fastest growing companies in the country, and that's not on accident. So hopefully you can tap into some of that knowledge. And the reason I brought Derek on, as I was saying, is because he gets to get a real good glimpse at the mindset. Because the one thing that I've found, and I've been in dental marketing for, I think we're going on 7 to 8 years now, is that unlike other businesses, it tends to, in the dental space, people have a different mindset when it comes to growing their practice. And you can get what I call cancer of the marketing mind, where you feel as if marketing is bad. You can get the negative and whiny sort of aspect of marketing put into your brain. So if you're trolling forums or listening to people in certain conferences, you kind of get a virus where you feel as if marketing is a bad thing. So that's why I brought Derek on, because we're really going to talk about the mindset behind what it takes to grow a successful business, which, by the way, any successful business that you have does market and sell. I know some people like to think that they're above marketing and selling, but unfortunately, no matter what business you're in, the only thing that makes the phones ring and people coming through the door is marketing and selling, nothing else. And by the way, internal marketing is a form of marketing. So even if you're 100% referral-based practice, marketing is essential in your building. So, Derek, I was just this is actually kind of a unique form of marketing in terms of internal marketing. Is I just went out to dinner, as you know, to a pretty expensive steakhouse in Chicago the other day, called Mastro's, and the food is amazing. It's amazing, and the atmosphere is great, and it's just a good meal, good time. No, nothing to really complain about.
Right.
And I just got a phone call from them Now, I went there on Saturday. Today is Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So I just got a phone call from them thanking me for coming on in.
Wow.
So, and they're not, I mean, it's an expensive steakhouse, but it's not like a 2-month waiting list to get in there.
Sure.
Like it, you know,
Right,
I mean,
right.
You can get a reservation in about a week. You know, it's not, and you know, you don't have to be, you know, J-Lo to get in there. I mean, it's just a steakhouse. So, you know, I thought that was cool, right? And we're going to tell stories like this all the time, ladies and gentlemen, because these are things that can be applied, and there's lessons to be learned in everything we do. So I thought, well, that was pretty cool that they called to check me in. And I told her, I said, yeah, thank you. The meal was. She asked me, you know, how it went, and I said, oh, we had a great time. The meal was wonderful, and you know, thanks for calling. And she let me get off the phone. Okay. Now, immediately, the marketer and myself and just the business owner in general started thinking, wow, did she ever just blow it? She just blew it.
She should have, right, exactly. She should have booked you in for another reservation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Dan Kennedy, I could feel him like getting uncomfortable hearing it because he just gets so frustrated with business owners where you think you're doing the right thing by picking up the phone and calling me, whereas like, you know, dental practices, and I've had this happen to me where they'll, you know, patient comes in for a cleaning and they'll call the next day just to thank them for coming in.
Right.
You know, and they may have booked another cleaning, so there's no necessarily a reason to book them for another cleaning. But there's other things you can do other than book them for another appointment. Like, yeah, she could have put me down for, you know, another reservation in a month because, you know, it wasn't that easy to get into. I mean, I would have picked another time. I would have maybe picked another day. But what else do you think she could have done to get me to do something beneficial for her?
Well, number one, she could have asked you to go on to Google and write a review, or go on to Facebook and share it with your friends, or offer you some kind of incentive, maybe a discount if you went online and post a review. I mean, restaurants kind of thrive off having those positive reviews. So that's what I would have done.
Yeah.
I would have asked for a Google review.
Yeah, that's exactly what I started thinking about.
Yeah.
You know, I would have. Well, see, the thing is she actually did the right thing. She said to me, she's like, wanted to thank you for coming in, and then I said, oh, well, thanks for the call. I said we had a wonderful meal. Now, I said I had a good time, so that means you invite me to leave a review. Now, if I would have said, well, you know, thanks for calling, but you know, it was okay. Or if I would have said, yeah, well, my steak was a little overcooked.
Mm-hmm.
I would have never invited for me to leave a review then. I would have said, hey, you know, I'm sorry that happened to you. Why don't we, I'll give you, we'll buy 2 drinks on the house and come back in, you know, at your convenience. How does next Saturday sound at 7:00? You know, that would have been a different thing to say. So,
right, exactly.
The moral of the story is it was a good attempt gone wrong. You know,
or maybe they just don't know yet. They don't know.
Well, maybe they don't know.
Yeah.
I guess maybe they don't know. I guess for this conversation in terms of dental marketing, because I want to make this relevant,
sure.
is that good enough? That wasn't good enough. Like, you know, sometimes good enough is good enough to do. So, like, you know, if you have a direct mail piece you're going to send out and it's good enough to send out, then it's good enough. But this attempt wasn't good enough. So the life lesson is if you have untrained staff, because this woman was not trained in how to get customers to leave positive Google reviews and book other appointments. She was very friendly, but untrained. Because her job is not to be friendly, right? What's her job?
Just to check in.
Job should be to book me for another appointment or get a Google review.
Oh, that should be,
Yeah. Her job's not to be nice. So, and we encounter this too. I mean, this is what I'm going to talk to you about. Is like, mindset wise, in terms of a dental practice, a dentist is a business owner. You have to get out of the mindset that good enough is good enough, right? Like you can't continue to put other people, whether it's people who answer the phones or office managers or hygienists, in positions to have responsibility who aren't trained. So, like, for example, I mean, you train a lot of our customers on kind of what we're talking about.
Right. How to talk to patients, how to get more reviews. Yep.
Right. So, one of the best things that we do is we get on the phone with our clients and we teach them how to train their staff, or at least help train their staff on how to solicit positive reviews online using the phone and using languaging in the office. You can't just think that's a good idea by listening to us on this podcast and go implement it. Because what's going to happen is you're going to have Marianne at the front desk attempt to solicit Google reviews, whether it's on phone or in person, and she's not going to ask the right scripted questions, and you're going to end up having 3 to 4 bad reviews get posted instead of 3 to 4 good ones. And as we know, we can't undo those. Can't be undone at all, unless you want a really expensive attorney bill, right? So that's my lesson for today with my Mastro story is most businesses think they're doing the right thing when in reality you might want to take a peek at what everyone's doing in your company and think, maybe I need to just take a closer look at this. Because I guarantee the woman's manager at Mastro's, a steakhouse, thought that she's just doing an amazing job because she called every customer from the weekend. But what that manager doesn't know is there's no benefit to that other than just making someone a little bit happy when there's so much opportunity that was left on the table, both monetarily and in terms of reputation.
And the reality is you might think of this restaurant in another 2 or 3 months, but how much better would it be if they had you booked in for another reservation in a month and a half? That would be obviously ideal. And if you weren't ready to do that, then, I'm sure you would have been willing to post a good review online.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, here's the thing. She doesn't know where I live. She doesn't know what, so it's like that Google review, man, that would be what I would be going for, because that'll go so much further, because that stays. Sure, you get me to come in and spend money, but a Google review that's raving is much more imperative.
Well, one of the questions that I often get from some of our newer clients, from new dentists that sign up for our program, is, well, how do I get my staff and my team members as motivated as I am to get these reviews online and start talking to patients about it, because they don't have anything in place. They've never done it before. They don't know where to begin. And my advice to the doctor is usually this, which the mindset has to stem from the doctor, and then it has to trickle on to the staff members, to the office manager, to the hygiene staff, and so forth. So the precedence needs to be set high, and they need to really aim for getting, 3 to 4 high quality good reviews every 2 weeks, every month. And that's just going to build upon the reputation of the dental practice.
Right. So, and we also encourage incentivizing your staff for reviews. I mean, we've all heard of production-based compensation for staff and practices, which makes sense, but why would you not? I mean, why would you not incentivize your staff to get customers to leave good Google reviews? I mean, like, that's no brainer. I mean, we have our most successful doctors who get the most reviews always bonus their staff per review posted on Google.
And actually, there was one of a dentist I was talking with a couple of weeks ago was actually saying that they used to give a significant discount for like a teeth whitening service to the patient if he or she was able to post a positive review on Google.
Yeah. Now I'm going to say this with a disclaimer, is that I'm not an attorney and I don't play one on TV either. So the reality is I don't really know. I believe that's a violation of a few terms of service. So, I mean, it's okay to do. I just wouldn't do it on every single time to do it.
Yeah.
I believe it's against FTC regulations to bribe for reviews and testimonials. And you might want to check with your local dental board. So, I'm not saying we're attorneys. So if you find that it's perfectly legal, then go ahead. I know you can't do contests on reviews. I know that much.
Right.
Right. But yeah, I mean, so I don't really. I mean, you could probably do it this way, and I've recommended this in the past. Is you can say things like, we're having a practice-wide contest, and we're giving away, $500 in free, cosmetic treatment or whatever incentive you want to use. And the way to enter your name into the contest, or one of the ways to enter your name in the contest, is to leave a Google review or like us on Facebook or leave a comment on Facebook. Mm-hmm. So, you kind of make it like an all-encompassing thing. So where, they might leave a review, they might like you on Facebook, and you can kind of get all the different angles of that. So, and one of the things I wanted to say too is, like, I'm facilitating this podcast, so this is not like, a pitch fest for Graig. Like, this is really just my expertise and my information. Like, I don't care if you use this or not use this. If you have questions about stuff, we're here to help you. One of the only things that I ask of people who tune in, and I hope you like it, is on the webpage, leave comments underneath each podcast, what you'd like to see addressed in future podcasts. Leave positive comments. Like us on Facebook, and then on the website, at the top right corner, there is a little box where you can put your email in, and we'll let you know when new podcasts come out. So sign up for that, so that way we can let you know. And like I said, I'm going to say this on every podcast, because I think it's just unfortunate right now. What's happening is that I need everyone who leaves a comment, whether it's on any sort of Facebook page that we have or blog that we have the radio show on, it has to be positive. There will be no room for negativity. There will be no room for whining. There will be no room for complaining. We don't tear people down. So if it's negative, you'll be banned. And I don't think I'm going to have that problem, but I know there's some other forums out there where people really get out of control with bashing people, and that's not the environment we're going to facilitate. So this is information for everybody. So let's just keep it really positive, and that's the best way you learn, is when things are positive. So, and I learned that, growing up, Dad used to harp on me about that all the time, negative thinking. So, whatever. But, that's part of today's thing, is part of mindset. So, like, if you look at, like, people in business and people who run dental practices, the reality is the people who are very much positive thinking, winning type attitude people are always the most successful. And when I say successful, it doesn't mean they have the most amount of money. It really means that they are the happiest in what they are doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't complain. They run a successful business. The sun's always shining. They were always the most successful. And that's to be true. I mean, and the best part about that stuff, by the way, is when you become that winning sort of mindset inside your dental practice, is that the world seems a little bit brighter. Because if you come into the door and you carry any sort of negativity with you, which you don't think that you do, but you probably do. Nobody's perfect, but you try to limit it. Your staff's going to smell that all over you, right? And when they smell that you have some negativity, they're not going to give 100%, number one, and then they're going to be negative because they think it's okay.
Right. So don't you think that it all kind of stems from the doctor, from the head of the practice?
Always.
Yeah, and it's up to he or she to instill that in their staff and hold them accountable for that.
I would agree. Yeah. And that's why, we had Eric Compton on our very first podcast, and one of the things he talked about was how he runs other businesses other than his dental practice, and he puts positive people in the right places. It all starts with him, but then he puts positive people in positive places. So Nancy, the office manager, she's very positive. She pays attention to what's going on. And then, putting the right trained people, but he said that it basically starts with him, coming from the top down. I know that's kind of cliche, but it's very much true. It's very much true.
I think it's ever so important too with dental practice. From what we see too, is that you have your staff, which particularly when in dental practice, they spend so much time with the patient, with the customer, and they really have the opportunity to, turn their visit into, a lifelong commitment into the dental practice. So it's really a responsibility of the hygiene staff and the receptionist. Everyone inside the dental practice has to step up to the plate and really be on their A game while they're there.
Yeah, I would agree. And and one of the things is that if you find that, because running a business is not easy. Running a dental practice is not easy. So if you find that it's wearing you down, you don't know where to turn next. Maybe payroll was tough to meet last month, or just cash flow is constricting. There are some certain things you can do mindset-wise to kind of kick the cobwebs out of your ears, And some of the things that I do that get me out of that rut is, and some of them are so small that anybody could do it. One of the good things that works for me is if I feel like I'm getting too bogged down by the business, is I'll go to the gym for an hour and just hit the weights, and then by the time I'm out of there, I think so much clearer. Or after work, I'll take a nice long drive. I'll get in my car and I just drive all over the suburbs just for 30 minutes. Just to kind of get my head out of it. And I'll play some good music just to kind of get my brain out of the daily funk of just the stress of it. So, those little things help me. Another thing that I think is lacking in a lot of our clients that we talk to, and I recommend this to all my entrepreneurial buddies too, is join a good mastermind group. And if people don't know what a mastermind group is, it's not a continuing ed group. It's not a study club. It's not a meetup. It's not you, going to a study club with your dentist buddies. That's not really what I mean. If anything, I would recommend you not joining a mastermind group of just dentists. It's actually a group of individuals who are like-minded individuals. So it'll be, in this case, it would be other entrepreneurs. And what you guys do is you get in a room together and everyone shares ideas and like-minded ideas, and it stays positive. And then you can go and implement other people's ideas. You can help other people implement your ideas. And the whole concept is minds multiplied are much better than one mind. So you really have the ability to grow your business quicker because there are just things that you would have never have thought about because you're in front of those people. And
Right.
that, I suggest not doing dental ones because sometimes you get just always in the same industry. You're running on the treadmill all the time. And the reality is, Jim Rome always says you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So whoever those 5 people are, and some of them might be family, you're going to be the average of those people. So if there are some negative Nancys in there, hopefully you're not married to one. But if there some negative Nancys in there, you have to figure out a way to manage them out of your equation, and put some more positive people into there, because we've all seen that happen, and sometimes those 5 people that you spend the most time with can be staff members who are negative. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and oftentimes, they become, when I say they, I mean business owners become so comfortable in their ways and inside running their business, running their dental practice, that they forget or they lose the ability to kind of look outside their daily regiment, their daily tasks, and they forget how to remain clear on the bigger picture, whether it's growing the business or expanding the patient base, whatever it is. They have to kind of step out of that mold in order to maintain success.
Yeah,
so,
I would agree.
I would definitely advise joining a mastermind group. And yeah, if a dentist can find a good one that's not focused specifically on dentistry, I think you've got. I think that's something they could learn from any type of entrepreneur.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And another thing that I would recommend too, speaking of mindset and keeping a clear, positive mind, is stay off the forums. Stay off of LinkedIn or any. Just stay away from crowded, opinionated places like that. And some dental conferences I would stay away from too. I'm not going to name names or anything like that, but the reason I say to stay away from those places is because you're never going to clear your mind when you have 17 different people telling you 17 different things. So, when I want to do something, I basically don't necessarily ask for 17 different opinions of people. I find 2 of my buddies that are experts in it, and I ask them, and that's about where I stop it.
Right.
And if you're on those sites and doing those things, you're not busy enough anyways. So, I mean, you can't be on there. You should be making your business grow. So, that's my 2 cents today. And I know a lot of stuff today's podcast is kind of like, mindset stuff and just going above. Not, I know we're talking about dental practices, but it's really about getting your mind right to run a business, because that's one of the things they didn't teach you in dental school, was that you're going to have all of these things to tackle, right? You didn't know you were going to have payroll, staff, patients that you have to deal with online, and all these different things, vendors, marketing, selling,
taxes.
And would you say taxes?
I said taxes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, that's part of the deal, is that they didn't teach a mindset either. So it needs to be done. So I suggest, man, every day do one thing that clears your mind. Take 15 minutes, take 5 minutes, I don't care. And just, just get it cleared out. So, I don't know. What do you do?
Well, I try, like you, I try to exercise. I think that's good. A lot of people like to start their day with a good exercise routine, and whether it be 20 minutes cardio or an hour, it depends on your schedule. I also like to, on the weekends, I try to not answer emails and deal too much with business related things. Another thing that I did a couple years ago was I turned off emails on my smartphone. So that way, whenever I'm at the office working, it's specific towards that. And if I step out of the office, I'm there to, enjoy my time with my family, my friends. I'm not always tethered to the office via my smartphone, which I thought was, a really big step for me, needing to disconnect myself from the workplace and, social life. So, I thought that would be, that's my advice. I would advise doing that.
Yeah, I think that's very true. So we're actually in the last minute of our podcast here. So like I said, I encourage everyone to leave comments and make positive comments and all those stuff. And the next podcast, we're going to actually talk about selling and marketing and why so many people have a bad connotation of selling and marketing and think that it's just a bad thing. So, and we're going to get into the battle of branding versus not branding. So that ought to be a good one. So, because for some reason, I don't know what it is, but people are like, oh, selling, that's just like so sleazy. Well, it doesn't have to be if you approach it the right way. So, that being said, I end every podcast with a quote that I like. That's like my thing. So today's quote comes from Jim Rohn, because Jim Rohn was a great individual, had a lot of wise things to say. He actually just passed away, and this is pertinent to today's podcast, right? So we talked about mindset and structure and just running your business. And Jim says, either you run the day or the day runs you. And that's basically what today was all about, was don't let your business run you. You run your business. Okay? And on your own terms is very important. So that is my quote of the day. Make sure everyone shares this on Facebook, email this to your friends, subscribe to other podcasts in the box on the right side of the webpage, leave a comment, let us know what you want to see in the future. And Derek, thanks for joining me. This was a good time. And
yep, absolutely. Not a problem.
We will see everyone else on the flip side. Later.